What's up guys, welcome back to Nuts and Bolts Auto, and today I'm going to be talking about ratchets or socket wrenches as they're called. And this is pretty much the mechanic's best friend. This is a tool that you're going to be using every single day. And right here I just have a little collection of ratchets, mostly just to talk about the different kinds of ratchets, what they're used for, and get you a little bit more familiar with the tool. So here's an example of why you would want to use a socket wrench or a ratchet instead of a regular wrench. And that would be because here, to remove this bolt, gotta break it loose, and then I have to reset every single time in order to continue loosening it. And sometimes you wouldn't have the space to do so. It takes a lot more time than it would to grab your ratchet wrench and then tighten it over a short distance, and you get the same job done faster. Now to start off, let's talk about what makes a ratchet. Right here you're gonna have your anvil, and then on the anvil it's gonna be a certain size from here to here. So this one here is a 1/4 inch because it measures 1/4 of an inch from here to there, and this means that this is a 1/4 inch drive ratchet. So when we're talking about the drive, you can see that this is a 1/4 inch drive ratchet, and then this here is a 3/8 drive ratchet, again 3/8, and then the big one is a 1/2 inch drive ratchet. As far as the anvil goes, you can get a solid anvil so you wouldn't have the pin that releases the ball. This little ball detent is so that it holds onto your sockets a little bit better and that they don't fall off. This specific ratchet also is a quick release. That means that it has a button back here, and this button, if you can see, it pushes up over here and it releases the ball, so the little ball gets sucked in and then the socket is able to slide out. Moving on from the anvil, right here you have your selector switch, and a lot of the times the ratchets are supposed to be, you push it to the left and that means tighten, you push it to the right and that's going to be loosening, and this is pretty much standard on most of your ratchets. As far as the selector switch goes, it really is up to preference, to your personal preference, whether you like it this way or this way. But like I said, most of the ratchets are going to be left to tighten and right to loosen. Now that we've talked about the selector switch, there's also another thing that makes up the ratchet, and inside here you'll see a pawl that the selector switch is connected to, and it's going to be this little lever that goes left and right, and then that's going to hook up and engage to the gear teeth on the anvil. Just to show you guys, I'm going to tear into this ratchet right here so you can see how it operates inside. So right here you can see how the selector switch moves the pawl back and forth, and then that's just going to allow your ratchet to turn in one direction, and then when you switch it, it goes the other direction. Here I have the anvil off of the ratchet. When you're looking at buying a ratchet, or when you're talking about the ratchets, you can say that this is a 32 tooth ratchet or a 90 tooth ratchet, or in this case specifically it's a 72 tooth ratchet, because as you can see right there, it's got individual little teeth, and then all the way around 360 there's going to be 72 teeth right there for engagement. The normal tooth count for ratchets for these old school ones are around 36 teeth. You'd see around right now like 72 teeth, or fine teeth ratchets are 90. And then there's even some ratchets that have 2 pawls, so, and they alternate, so they're basically walking. And then that would mean that because of the 2 pawls on there, one engages and then lets go, and then the next one engages, like that, alternating. So you can get up to 120 teeth, I guess, but 120 points of engagement. When talking about the swing arc, what that refers to is because of the amount of teeth on here, it'll increase or decrease how far you have to swing the tool in order for it to engage with the next tooth. The higher the tooth count, the more delicate it becomes up here. The smaller the tooth count, the stronger the ratchet will be. So as to why you have a small one, a medium one, and a large one, that's going to be because this 1/4 inch drive is going to be used to drive small fasteners, maybe up to 13 millimeter, and then anything over that, and you're going to be exceeding the strength of the anvil on here or the teeth. If you try to use it on larger fasteners, it's just going to break. So that's why this 1/4 inch is usually for small stuff, interior components and stuff like that. The 3/8 drive is the most versatile one. This is going to be most of your automotive bolts that you have anywhere, and this is going to be maybe up to 19 to 20 millimeter, and then anything bigger than that, and you're going to move up to a 1/2 inch drive. There's also these adapters to change the drive size, but I generally wouldn't recommend using them because you run the risk of breaking the bolt, the ratchet, or the adapter. So you got to choose the ratchet that you're going to use accordingly to the job that you're trying to do. So right here I've got 3 9/16 sockets. These 3 sockets are all the same size except for the drive end. You can see right here I have a 1/4 inch drive 9/16, a 3/8 drive 9/16, and a 1/2 inch drive 9/16. So again, your sockets, you're going to put them on here, and that's what you're going to drive with the ratchet. If you wanted to remove really stuck on fasteners, this here is a 1/2 inch drive ratchet. This is also a 1/2 inch drive ratchet and a 1/2 inch breaker bar. As you can see, the longer it gets, the more torque you're able to apply on the fastener as you're turning it. Now, when we're talking about the ratchet, we've already talked about the selector switch, the anvil, the teeth, the quick release. So then you go off to your handle, and right there you can have a short handle, a medium handle, long handle, and it's up to preference and again about the job that you're trying to do. A lot of the times it's also about accessibility because this here is a straight handle, so this is just gonna be able to, you know, just work all the way around. But sometimes you need to be able to bend at a degree or work around an obstacle. So then you might want to go ahead and grab a flex head ratchet like this one. The handle flexes, and this is going to allow you to reach around obstacles and still be able to ratchet. And even with these ratchets, there's also different methods of holding the head to the handle. This one here has a ball detent in there, if you can see the little ball, and that's going to kind of lock it, well not lock it, but it's going to hold it for you in a certain angle, and then you want to try to move it and it's going to pop into another angle, move it again, and there you go. That's as far as it went. But it's not really possible to hold it in between 2 detents, so maybe in that case you would want to grab yourself one of these ratchets that there are no detents on there, and this one basically moves around all over the place. But this also has a drawback because these ones tend to get really loose and floppy over time. Because of the nature of the ratcheting, it's gonna force open these forks, and then it's gonna make it very wobbly, and then you're gonna have to tighten down this screw, but eventually that screw is not gonna be able to tighten anymore and you'll have to just warranty out the ratchet. This here is an example of a loose head on a ratchet, since it doesn't really hold its place anywhere. And to tighten it, we'll just grab the screw, give it a couple turns, and you can see right there it doesn't flop around anymore. So these 2 here are able to flex. This one has a detent, this one does not. A lot of the times when you get your ratchet into the position on the fastener, you try to move it and then it moves up on you. So in that case, you can move on over here to a locking flex head. It's got a lock right here, so it will not move until you undo the lock, set it to where you want it, and then lock it again. And then it stays locked in that position. This one also has the advantage that besides it being a locking flex head, it's also extendable, so you can move it in or out to get more torque depending on your application. Now, if you remember, I mentioned this situation with the fastener moving your flex head when you put pressure up on it. There is a ratchet that's built specifically for that, and that is the Roto head ratchet. So this Roto head ratchet is built like this because when you push against the fastener, no matter which way that you have the head, as long as you're pushing towards the fastener, it will not flip on you the way that this one does. There's also this kind of ratchet, and this is an indexing head ratchet, and this one's special because it's also got a lock on there, but it allows you to turn at a 90 degree or even back up on itself depending on the situation. You could go all the way around as a speed handle, but a lot of the times this is used like a crow's foot would be, so where you want the wrench to be on the side and you're reaching up from the top or something for very hard to reach bolts. Now, one time that you don't want to be using a ratchet is when you get to a bolt that is really tight and needs to be broken free, and that's what a breaker bar is for. This here doesn't have any ratcheting mechanism, so there's nothing for you to break right there besides the anvil if you go too crazy, but this is going to be the strongest thing to use to break free very tight bolts. Once it's broken free, then you can go ahead and grab your ratchet and turn it the rest of the way. This over here is another kind of ratchet, a pass-through ratchet. So this one's specially designed to be used with pass-through sockets, and this is going to allow you to ratchet while you have a stud or something sticking through, and you're still going to be able to turn it. you have right here a palm ratchet, and this palm ratchet is meant to be used where you can barely put your fingers in there, and you can get the socket on there on the fastener and just barely work it loose. You also have your stubbies. Like this one here is a stubby 1/2" drive ratchet. So here's your 1/2" drive, and it's basically the same as this but half the length, again, to reach into very tight areas. And if you wanted a flex head version of it, here it is, also a stubby, but this is 3/8 drive. And then this one here is a plastic, or composite as they call it, ratchet. Now this one here is special because it's made out of plastic, like I said. The reason why you would have this is for extreme temperatures. Like here where I live, it gets easily 120 degrees in the summer, which means that all these metal tools are gonna be burning to the touch if you're not wearing gloves when you grab it. I imagine when it's really cold outside, it's -10 degrees. Also, you're gonna want a plastic ratchet so your hands aren't freezing. Now this also has the added bonus of being able to be used around electrical stuff. Like if you're working right next to the battery or something, you wouldn't really want to use a metal ratchet, because if you short those two, you're going to get that battery to explode on you. So that's not going to happen, or at least it's the chances of it happening are very reduced with a plastic or composite ratchet. Now talking about the quick release right here, this is pretty much the only ratchet that I own that doesn't have a quick release button. It's just up to personal preference. I don't really like it that it doesn't have a quick release button right here, but it just means that when the ratchet is there, it's going to be a little harder to pull the socket off, as this one would be. Like right there, I push the button and it easily slides off. And then with this one, I actually have to kind of work to pull it off. And here's another kind of ratchet. This one here is a clutch ratchet, because I don't know if you can hear, but you can't hear the teeth inside. That's because there aren't any. This uses little ball bearings inside that they only turn in one direction, and then they bind when trying to go the other. Now this one can't be reversed in your traditional way of just hitting a lever. To reverse this one, you would have to push the anvil through to the other side. So as you can see right there, the L is for left and the R for right. Now these ones are really nice for when you're in a very confined space and you don't really have very much space to move, because it's basically infinite the amount of degrees you have to move for it to catch and move over. One other kind of ratchet is this ratcheting wrench. The ratchet is over here on the box end. It's gonna have a pawl right here, and then there's teeth on the box end on the inside of it to where it catches. And again, this one here only goes in one direction, so if you wanted to flip it over and then go the other direction. As far as ratcheting wrenches go, there's all these basic designs as well. You have your flex head, you have the ones that are off 15 degrees with the reversing lever. And over here, I've also got a ratcheting screwdriver or ratcheting nut driver, and it drives 1/4" nuts right there, or you could put the nut driver adapters on here and ratchet with your hand. So here we have an air ratchet. This one here is not the impacting kind. It's just to drive in and drive out fasteners once they've been broken loose. This one is a 1/4" drive. It's got a reversing lever, 1/4" drive, and your trigger. You would just plug in your air hose, and then you'd be able to ratchet. This one here is another ratchet, but this one's electric. It works off battery power. And again, here's the reversing lever and the trigger. Now if you wanted to free very tight fasteners, or actually drive like lug nuts or other heavy fasteners, then you'd be using an impact gun. Now this one does have a hammer inside that'll impact and knock fasteners loose. This is a stubby, and again, you would hook it up to your shop air and hit the trigger. Now this one has the reversing lever right here, and it also has a power switch right here where you choose how much power you want it to deliver. And here's a bigger version of the same tool, so we're just going to hook it up to shop air. Here's the trigger. Here's your reversing lever forward, and then it's got your speeds as well. Well, there you go guys. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you learned something today. So remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and all those other goodies. Thank you.